The fascination with true crime has seen a boom in recent years.
You even see it right here on TV 11. Our Unsolved series highlights cold cases across Arkansas.
But why are we so drawn to these violent stories, and does the interest in true crime help, or could they hurt investigations?
Well, new tonight at 10, TV 11 Sarah Hrabakowitz brings us answers to those questions.
He planned on starting a new job.
A timeline is emerging in the death of a San Diego woman.
True crime, whether by book, podcast, or TV. If you're not a fan, you probably know someone that is. A national YouGov survey shows half of all Americans enjoy true crime content. But why?
Same reason we do roller coasters or haunted houses. We're just kind of drawn to the adrenaline of fear. Right.
Licensed therapist Natasha Thorne is a fan of true crime herself, but also works with clients impacted by violent crime. She says that chasing a thrill is only part of why people keep tuning in.
There's almost kind of this perceived educational component to it, where people feel like if I know what to look for, or if they find themselves in a dangerous situation, it's almost like, okay, now I know what to do or what not to do.
Sherry Skaggs is an associate professor of criminology at the University of Central Arkansas. It's her job to teach about not only the mindset of true crime fans, but also the criminals themselves.
There's inherent need for a lot of people to understand things that we don't necessarily understand. And when it comes to murder, particularly serial killers, for example, we can't fathom why someone would do that to another person, and that sort of creates that need to try to understand why someone would do that to another person.
And Skaggs says part of why we turn on thrilling crime stories is because we can turn them off.
We enjoy that sense of controlled fear. We're still in charge of it. I can turn the TV off if I want. That makes the difference.
So when does curiosity become at-home detective work?
We want the adrenaline. We want the controlled fear factor. We want to be the one to solve that mystery. If you may have sat through a movie before and thought, oh, I know what's going to happen next.
But Skaggs says it's not likely that citizen sleuths can actually solve a case.
Sometimes you feel as though you could do that better than the investigators, right? But we want to keep in mind that we don't, if we're watching these shows, have all of the facts. Who does have the facts? And that's the investigatory team that's working on that case.
Detective Mark Fallis is a part of that investigatory team at the Hot Springs Police Department.
In some ways they're good because they bring attention to cases.
We've interviewed him before in our true crime series, Unsolved. Some of our stories have helped bring in new tips to old cases.
People get on there and make comments and things like that. I personally love reading them, especially the comments, because sometimes there are truth in some of those comments. And when I find a person being truthful in a comment, I'll track that person down and try to talk to them. I've done that several times.
But Detective Fallis says true crime stories are a double-edged sword, and too many tips can bog down detectives.
Many times it's just somebody, they don't really know what they're talking about, but yet they're throwing their theory out there and saying, and sometimes that can very much cloud our case and really hurt us when it comes to trial time.
And while reporting on true crime provides a check on authorities to do their jobs correctly, Fallis says misinformation can also lead to victims' families not trusting police.
Sometimes it does more harm than good. The bad thing is we can't even give the family all the information on the case. Well, some of these sites get it and they're putting out information that they don't know is true, but they're presenting it as truth. So in that case, it really can kind of hurt. It's hurtful to the family.
Shannon Green knows that feeling well. She's still searching for answers to her brother Jared's disappearance nearly 30 years ago.
I don't want to discourage anyone from being a true crime fan. I just want them to be considerate of, people that are living it, not just, able to turn it off.
Renewed attention came to her brother's case last year when Shannon started a Facebook group to collect tips, which now has thousands of members across the country.
Pre-Facebook group, it was a lot of just, carrying that weight on my own, and with my family. But with the Facebook group now, I feel like we have a support group.
But again, it's not all helpful.
There are people on the page that I know are connected to people that might have been involved in Jared's disappearance. And so we know they use that page to keep track of what we're doing.
But for Green, who spends hours a week searching for answers, the chance to learn information that will bring justice for her family outweighs everything else.
We've had people who have given us names of people to contact. So we've gotten additional contacts. We've been told of the 4 locations that we're going to be searching. It is worth it because, the goal is to get information that will help bring us Jared home.
No matter the reason, every year, stories like Jared's are watched by millions across the country as we hope to put our minds and victims' families at ease with a case closed.
When we perceive that justice has been served and these cases are solved, the people are held accountable, then we feel like all is right with the world again.
That was Sarah Horbakowitz reporting. Professor Skaggs also says that many of her students credit true crime stories as their reason for studying the field. And
if you'd like to watch any of our unsolved stories that look into Arkansas cold cases with this new perspective, you can find them all right now on the THV11 YouTube page.